Hey, y'all, it's your favorite trainer with a belt buckle. How are we doing today? We are going live. We're going to start doing more of these to help you pass your NASM-CPT. One of our more common responses, why do you bash NASM? We're not bashing them. I love NASM. They're a great marketing company. They got in front of you because you went online, you typed in how to become a trainer, and they popped up. Now, if you want to become a successful personal trainer, you might want to read the book. 90% of textbook certified trainers quit within the first year. ACE, NASM, ACSM, NSCA, ISSA, it doesn't matter what textbook you get. It's not going to make you successful. You need an internship where you can get your certification like we offer at Up Fitness. I worked for a school that taught NASM and I didn't like it. So I left and I started our own company. So we're not bashing any of these certs. We want you to be successful. And unfortunately, trainers today do not have a very good rep. Those that show up do, because you're able to help people and network with professionals, medical professionals, and you can create a career out of this. And that's what we ultimately want. So we understand a lot of people cannot get a refund. So then you're stuck with this textbook, 800 pages, whichever one it is. You're like, what the hell to do? I don't know. I'm not going to take the test. I'm going to spend another 2-3 months. No. Stop right now. You take the textbook certification as quickly as you can if you cannot get a refund. Show Up Fitness CPT, that's going to actually prep you to be successful. You get classes that are online. Anywhere in the world, you can show up. You get to ask questions to professionals. Holy shit, you get to talk to people and help your clients build case examples for proper programming. You know your anatomy, 17 muscles of the shoulder, 20 muscles of the lower body, how to regress and progress. We have a team of therapists, professors, doctors. We can help anyone become successful. So while I'm going over the OPT model, people may ask some questions, and I'll answer those. But the purpose of these, for you to hop on here, if you're trying to get a textbook certification, we will help you pass it ASAP. We've had over 3,100 people pass these. They're not hard. You got to get through it and unlearn the information. That's why we started Show Up Fitness. It's up-to-date scientific literature. A lot of these textbooks, they're not up to date. They're using information from 20, 30, 40 years ago. Upper cross syndrome, lower cross syndrome. That stuff's been debunked. The optimization of programming is not 2023. So we want to help you be successful. I was talking to an Equinox trainer today. Love it. He observed this trainer working with a client, and the client said this: I feel like I'm in the circus. They were doing single leg Eric's pad RDLs. Why the hell would you be doing that? You got to be stable. Lift heavier with proper form. The movement pattern of a squat hinge, unilateral. What's the specificity for that individual? Then you overload it, throw in some variation. So we will help you be successful. That's our little rant right there. Here's what you care about the most. You want to pass this, so we're going to get into the OPT model. You don't need to know much. All you need to know are the acute variables. You don't need to read the chapter. Now, our study guide, obviously, it's going to help you pass it. We've helped 3,100 people pass it. So we had someone who just said they passed in July from getting their NASM-CPT with our guide. Yeah, that's what you get. If you focus just on the guide, you will pass it. It clears up so much. You're taking quizzes out there that are not prepping you to pass the exam. So if you have the textbook, cool. If you don't, you do not need to get it. We've helped numerous people pass certifications from a textbook without having the textbook. So in our guide, you'll see things like read this chapter, don't read this chapter. People get confused. I got to get the textbook. No, it's for those that have the textbook. So if you do have the textbook, there's lots of pages where you can get this. This is going off of page 699. It's one of the most important pages, but this is all you need to know from this page. You need to know there could be a question on plyometrics. How long do you hold the plyometric for? They'll have a question 0 to 1 seconds, 1 to 2 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds, or 5+. The correct answer would be 3 to 5 seconds. The acute variables are making reference to the reps. So for phase 1, stabilization is 12 to 20. And then you need to know the rep periods, which I just said rest periods are 0 to 90 seconds. You need to know the intensity, which is 50 to 70%. And then 4-2-1-1. That is making reference to eccentric for 4. Muscle is lengthening. Concentric is the muscle shortening. When you hold, it's isometric. With the plyometric, you have that middle phase, which is called amortization, which is quick and explosive. So you have 4 eccentric, pause for 2 isometric, up for 1, pause for 1 isometric, down for 4. That's what 4-2-1-1 means. You need to know the specific exercises within stabilization. So for example, your core exercise, your spine isn't moving. That would be like a plank. Prone iso-ab is what they call it. Whereas when you graduate into phases 2, 3, and 4, the spine moves like a crunch, reverse crunch. That would be used in strength. Whereas a medicine ball throw where there's rotation and you throw something, that would be phase 5. There's 3 parts of the OPT model: stabilization, strength, and power, of which in strength, there's 3 phases, phase 2, 3, and 4. We'll go through all those acute variables. So for phase 2, all you need to know, it's a superset. Bench press into a push-up, a squat into a step-up, a pull-up into a TRX row. It's all you need to know. It's the same muscle group back-to-back, no rest. One is stable, one is unstable. So then you graduate into phase 3, which is muscular development, hypertrophy. And so for phase 3, the rep scheme is going to be 6 to 12. The intensity will be 75 to 85%. The rest will be less than 60 seconds. I laugh because that's outdated. We don't do that anymore, but 7th edition for this, you do. That's one of the reasons why I left, because the programming and a lot of this is just outdated. It's not optimal. But for you, you got to memorize this. You put your NASM hat on. Okay, what are we going to do? You always got a foam roll for the textbook, and you got to stretch for phase 1. For phases 2, 3, and 4, you got a foam roll, and then you do some active isolate, which would be holding for 1 to 2 seconds. And then for the power phase, you're going to foam roll again, and you can do some dynamic stretching, which is sport specific. So for phase 3, you're still going to foam roll. You're going to do some active isolate. And now we're going to do exercises like a bench press, a squat. You're going to do 6 to 12 reps. This is all linear periodization. Remember, with periodization, we have micro machine, which is small. It's going to be the week. Then you have meso, which is the month. And then you have the macro cycle, which will typically be anywhere from 3 months to as long as 4 years. Bigger blocks. I'll call that a block. And so for phase 3, you're also going to have the, which one? I think I got the rest. I got the reps. That's all you need to know. You're good. Move on to phase 5. This is going to be heavier, 85 to 100%, 1 to 5 reps. We're doing more sets, longer rest periods, 2 to 5 minutes. That's it. Then you move on to phase 5. That's going to be your power. In phase 5, you also have supersets, and it's referred to as a PAP, which is post-activation potentiation. So with the supersets for phase 5, you do a bench press and a ball push. They're not going to ask you to bench press, ball push, or ball push and bench press. It's just the same muscle. One is going to have explosiveness, one of the answers. Whereas if it's the same muscle and one's unstable, that's phase 2. So phase 2 and phase 5 are supersets. That's all you need to know. So for the acute variables for phase 5, 30 to 45% of your 1 rep max, that's power. Power is defined as force times velocity. And then you have your rest period, which is 2 to 5 minutes, and supersets. All you need to know. So for the OPT model, memorize those acute variables. They will ask you about specific exercises, like a client does an ice skater. Which part of the OPT model would that be in? Phase 5. If we're doing a rotational throw, or a throw this way, or a power clean, phase 5. So it's really important to memorize those acute variables. People have used our guide and failed. I hop on an IG Live with them and I quiz them. Do you know the acute variables with the OPT model? They don't. This will be about 30, 40% of the entire exam. You need to know your overactive, underactive stuff with the OPT model. Sorry, the overhead squat, which is stupid. Specificity. If someone comes in and they want a big ass, why would I have them do this? They're never going to do this with me. Why not have them squat? Why not have them do a hip thrust? That's appropriate. Maybe we regress to a bridge, progress to a heavier load, 6 reps if they've been training for a while. So that's my frustration. And this is all my opinion. Beautiful thing about online is you get your own opinion. You don't get bitter, you get better. So I see a lot of stuff that NASM does is awesome. They're a great marketing company. They get in front of people. They brainwash people. They think that you're going to be successful by getting 4 certs as you just spent $3,000 on a bundle. It's like, okay, I like that. That's taking like what Starbucks has done, where you have the person in front of you and you upsell them. Great. How can you take that and put into your own business? That's a great marketing technique. So you learn and you become better. Now, the scientific fitness information for having a degree in kinesiology, being a teacher for 10 plus years, it's not up to date. That's why we have professors and doctors of physical therapy, and we implement the most current strategies. We don't scare people with movement. We don't tell them they have upper cross syndrome or your lats are overactive. If someone has pain, we address it. We make a referral out. If someone hurts themselves from doing a lift, we're going to look at the movement and we're going to see how we can cue them properly to regress it and lift that load. So we're pro movement based at Show Up Fitness, and our certification is going to help you build your business by building your confidence. Confidence and competence, those are the two most important things when it comes to sales. And so many trainers fail today because they're not confident during that sales presentation. They don't know how to have that conversation. Maybe you want to train with me for like 3 times for $100. That sounds like a good deal. And the client goes, "That's too expensive." And you go, you don't know how to respond. You don't know how to object. So we teach sales is big in our certification because you have someone in front of you. You need to know the value in your product, and I can get you in the best shape of your life. This is not going to prep you for that sales technique, the sales that you're going to need to be able to do. So I'm going to ask you guys some questions from our study guide, see how well you would do. Number 1, which of the following isn't a focus of stabilization training? So your mind should go, all right, stabilization, 12-20, 50 to 70%, 4-2-1-1. We want to strengthen our ligaments and tendon, the connective tissue, neuromuscular efficiency. That's what you should be thinking. So when you hear the answers, improve movement patterns. Okay, that sounds good. Improve muscle mass. Muscle mass typically doesn't kick in for about 4 to 6 weeks, so that's not a very good answer. Improve muscle imbalances. Oh, imbalances. NASM loves that one. It's definitely one of the main focuses there. Improve joint range of motion and flexibility. So the answer for this one would be B. You're not going to have a lot of muscle mass. If it were to ask which phase the OPT model, that would be phase 3. Number 2, which of the following would be an example of a phase 2 superset? So your brain needs to go, okay, phase 2, that's going to be something that's stable into unstable. Phase 5 would be stable, explosive. That's the difference between them. So now when we look for an answer, a bench press into a medicine ball chest press. Boom, circle the answer, move on, because it's the same muscle. So that's where the exam can be very, very easy, because when you read all the answers, you're going to get caught up in your head. So a lat pull down into a soccer throw. Oh, that could also be an answer there. Bench press into a push-up. Single leg squat into barbell squat. So for phase 2, I misspoke on that one. Phase 2 is going to be bench press into a push-up. So make sure you understand what they're asking for the phases. 2, you're going to have unstable, and that's going to be the push-up portion. Phases, answers A, B, and A and B would be for phase 5. Single leg squat to a barbell back squat would not be within the OPT model. So the answer for that, which of the following would be an example of a phase 2 superset? Phase 2 would be bench press into a push-up. What is the proper order of the OPT model? So we have stabilization, endurance, muscular development, strength, endurance, power, maximal strength. It's pretty easy answer here because we're looking for power to be at the end, because that's phase 5. We want stabilization to be phase 1. So you just kind of go through there. Stabilization, endurance, strength, endurance. No, it's not going to be that one. Strength, endurance, cross that one off. You're going to go from stabilization, endurance into strength, endurance, into muscular development, into maximal strength, into power. What are the fundamental components of the integrated training program? Equipment, reps, rest intervals, or acute variables. As I said earlier, acute variables are everything that we went over, from the sets, the reps, the rest, the intensities, and so forth. D would be the answer there. What is an example of a plyometric strength exercise? Squat jump with stabilization. That's what I said earlier. It's going to be phase 1. Multiplanar jump with stabilization, tuck jump, or ice skaters. So ice skaters are going to be phase 5. This is asking for plyometric strength exercise. That's going to be your middle portion. And so your tuck jump, C, will be the right answer for that one. A and B would be obviously stabilization. Ice skaters, you're changing your base of support, which would be phase 5. So get through the OPT model. Hopefully you found this helpful. I want to do more of these where you guys can hop on. We had a couple people ask some questions. I will be posting on our Instagram, also our YouTube, so you guys can hop on here, ask questions. I'm trying to understand bioenergetics. I'm thinking about getting certified through NASM. What do you think? I'm biased with our own company, with our own certification. You need to ask, why do you want the certification, not which certification is the best. So I say that a lot because if you were to go to an Equinox, for example, if you go in West Hollywood, they have a relationship with Show Up Fitness, Santa Monica, Carlsbad, Houston, as well as Chicago and Miami. We know the managers, they love Show Up Fitness CPT. We can get you an interview. You'll get hired within a couple of weeks. Now, if you go to a Lifetime may be more biased towards a NASM. So you reach out to the hiring manager and say, which certification would you like to see on my resume? And if that manager says ACE, great, we can help you get ACE certified. If they say NASM, cool, we'll help you get NASM certified. If you come to Show Up Fitness, our West Hollywood, Santa Monica, La Jolla location, you say, hey, Chris, which I've had before. People come in with their resume and they go, I'm NASM certified. I say, cool, you're not going to train for us. You got to get your Show Up Fitness CPT. We don't hire NASM certifications. You have to get ours. I have that leverage because I own the gyms. So if you want to work for Show Up Fitness, you got to put your Show Up Fitness hat on and you go through our CCA. CCA is going to be your core movement pattern, your accessory. So if I have a client who wants to grow their ass, we're going to do a hinge pattern that's appropriate for them. We're going to do a push or pull, which will be opposite upper body. And then so those will be antagonistic. So hinge into a push into an accessory, which is something your client wants to do. They want a big ass, maybe do some band walks. You do it for 3 rounds and you go to the next ones. We'll do a squat. If we did a push here, we'll do a pull in the second circuit. And you do another accessory. That's when you can put in cardio because we don't want to compromise force production for the first circuit there. And at the end, we did a squat, we did a hinge. Now we're going to do a unilateral. And we'll do a press, and then we'll do some type of cardio or something. So the accessory is what your client wants. If they're injured, you put in some prehab, rehab. The CCA programming makes your life so much easier. So you know how to program on the fly. And that's one of the more attractive things that I've heard from Equinox and Lifetime managers when they work with our interns who went through the internship, got to Show Up Fitness CPT. They're actually able to design programs on the fly. And they don't get caught up where most people need 10, 15 minutes to design a program with a client with shoulder issues. Super easy. Let's see what your range of motion looks like. Oh, you're restricted there? All right, well, let's make a referral out. Or let me show you some correctives that will be specific and helpful for you. So let's get into a workout. So belt buckle trainer, checking out. Boom, check out our new shirts. These are getting kind of cool. We have more swag on the website. If you want to become a qualified, certified trainer, check out the book. New one will be coming out January 1st. Let us know what your thoughts are on this one. If you have any questions, shoot us a message on Show Up Fitness, the website, also on Instagram. Have a great day.